We're officially past the halfway point of the 2024-2025 San Jose Sharks season. And where have we seen improvement?
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL on Tuesday with Seth. Go check it out. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen, proudly part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And today, we're going to be doing the little bit past halfway check-in of the season, see kind of where the Sharks team is at, how their numbers have improved over the 20-game, since the 20-game mark, which numbers have kind of maybe slipped a little bit here and there, and kind of who you're starting to kind of see take control of this team. Spoiler, his name is Macklin Celebrini. So before we get to all that, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets if you win or lose your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right. I know we're technically at Tuesday will be game 43. So we are one game over the halfway point. Scheduling quirk mixed with being sick, et cetera, et cetera. So we're gonna look at this 42 games and see where this Sharks team is at, and kind of how the offense has starting to incrementally. You're starting to see little bits of improvement from it, and how defense, there's been some improvement as well, and how Celebrini is starting to kind of make his impact. So let's start with the big global numbers for this team. So as of right now, they're 13, 23, and 6, 8th in the division. They have 32 points, 381 point percentage. That is less than what they were at the 20-game mark, where they were at a 400 points percentage. Brutal December really hurt there. 110 goals for 149 goals allowed, with a minus 39 goal differential, which is last in the NHL for goal differential. So, yeah, it's the Sharks, you got the Blackhawks, Penguins, Preds, Flyers, which interestingly enough, the Flyers, who kind of playoff teamish, but also that goal differential is horrific. Anyway, Sharks worst goal differential, but at least it's not like last year's where it was runaway Sharks goal differentials. So I think though, kind of my big takeaway so far is it has been very much of an up and down season, especially December. I think was a really down month compared to what we saw in November, where November the team was playing more competitive hockey. December definitely saw them kind of backslide a little bit, and injuries of course piling up. Jake Wallman missing a good chunk of December I think hurts. Mackenzie Blackwood getting traded, like there is some stuff to point to, and I think the scoring that we saw, especially at the end of December, beginning of the end of November, beginning of December, just wasn't sustainable when you're scoring 7-8 goals a game. But now that we are halfway through, we have a much bigger sample size. We can kind of see what this offense has done, and some slight improvements from this team so far. So looking at their shot attempts, 1,823 shot attempts at 5v5 so far this season. 2,223 shot attempts allowed. So the Corsi 4 is actually at 45.06, which is actually up 0.72 percentage points compared to what it was at the 20-game mark. So slight movement again. Right, you're seeing positive things of them at controlling the puck more, getting more shot attempts. Interestingly enough, the shots for, they're 876 for 1,064 shots allowed. Shot for percentage is 45.06%, which is 0.23 percentage points less than what it was before. So they're getting more shot attempts, but just not as many shots on goal. Or I guess maybe letting a little bit more shots on goal. But you're seeing much, almost a full percentage point increase in shot attempts over basically the last 22 games, especially compared to the first 20 games of the season. So expected goals at 5v5. Goals for, they scored 74 goals for. Goals allowed, they've allowed 98 at 5v5 this so far this season. 43.02% goals for. That's actually an increase by 3.5 percentage points. It was close to, it was around 40%. So you're seeing they're scoring more, and it's getting much closer, like, to being just an average, like just a bad team instead of what we have seen in previous installments of the Sharks offense. And their expected goals for 74.1 and expected goals allowed 98.05. So you're seeing they've scored 74 goals on 74.1 expected goals for. Well, that's not too bad. You would like to see them score more goals than expected, but we'll take an even-ish number. And they've given up 98 goals on 98.05 expected goals allowed. Like, those numbers align. Like, they're not it's not like they've scored 55 goals on 74 expected goals. Like, that would mean that the offense is really cratered. The offense is kind of producing what you would expect from right now. And their expected goals for is at 43.05%. That's an increase of 1.45 percentage points since the 20-game mark. So you are seeing that this team the offense is doing better and kind of project and being and again, it's not like some huge jump. These are baby steps, right? But you are seeing that the offense is starting to do some things and starting to be, at least it's aligned to what it's supposed to be. And the defense, right? The defense isn't hemorrhaging goals. And we'll have a conversation about that here in a little bit. But I think these are positive kind of things to take so far. Is this team is where it's supposed to be. It's the offense right now, yes, it's not a great offense, but it's kind of projected where it's supposed to be, and it's kind of hitting where it's supposed to be right now. As their young players get better and they get more talent, like, the offense will eventually get better. But it's good to see that they're not, like I said, way under of, like, they scored 55 goals and they're expected to get 74. That means something's wrong, and that's shooting talent or bad luck, et cetera, et cetera. Like, they're just kind of where they're supposed to be right now. So, yeah, I'm not too bad. Not too, like, I think these are positive, and especially that you're seeing improvements. Like, some of them are small, but you are seeing improvements even with a really bad December mixed in. And even with, like, an 8-1 loss and that 4-0 Flyers loss, like, I think you are seeing this team be a more competitive team, play more competitive hockey, and I think kind of moving along where they're supposed to be right now. So we'll keep looking at the offense here and look at the offense, like how the lines have looked. Actually, let's do that now. We'll do that right now. So looking at the 5v5 offense. So goals for per game, they're at 1.76 goals for per game. There's actually an increase it was at 1.5 at the 20-game mark. So that's up by 0.26 percentage points. The Corsi for per game played. So their shot attempts, 43.4, up by 0.1. It's about the same. And their actual shots on goal, 20.9. So they dropped about half a shot on goal. The Corsi for is about the same, but they're getting more goals for per game, which is good to see. That kind of relates that they're making, maybe not, they're getting more quality chances if you're able to kind of score as more compared to your just kind of shooting just to shoot. And while this team does need to shoot some more, you are seeing the offense, at least I think, make some improvements. The goal leader, Toffoli, at even strength's got 9. Eklund leads the assist at 14, and Zetterlund leads points at 5-on-5 at 19. Those are the exact same leaders at the 20 game mark that we are seeing at the 42 game mark. So we'll dig into the lines here a little bit and kind of look at who's played well with who and kind of who's been the Corsi forward, all that fun stuff. So we'll dig into that here in just 1 second. From big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. The FanDuel app gives you everything you need for live bets, same-game parlays, and so much more. Like I said before, I said it yesterday. I love the Bills this weekend. Give me all the Josh Allen touchdowns and give me the Bills win. And I think it's the Bills year this year. So just visit FanDuel.com to join today. Get started with $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make the playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right. Before we continue to dig into the offense some more, of course, want to thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. For your second listen, go check out one of the other great shows here. Of course, you have Locked On Fantasy Hockey. For your fantasy hockey team, you need to know who to start, who to sit, who to drop, waivers, all that fun stuff. They've got you covered there. Or check out any other shows here in the Bay Area. Locked On Niners as they break down a disappointing Niners season. Locked On Warriors, are they ever going to get Steph help? Locked On Giants, are they going to do anything? Locked On A's, they're enjoying just barely hitting the salary cap floor. So plenty of great stuff here at Locked On, where, again, we cover your team every day. All right, let's continue looking at the offense here and look at how the forwards have kind of, which lines have been working, I think, the most for the best for the Sharks. So if you look at, I kind of did 30 minutes, so you're not going to see too much of some of the, Celebrini, Smith, etc., like Graf. You're not going to see like a line like that. But Granlund, Celebrini, Toffoli, they're actually your Corsi Kings right now. They have a 58.1% Corsi for in their 36 minutes of played. Looking at like lines that actually have played good chunks, the Macklin, Granlund, Toffoli line actually is with over 106 minutes of played, 52.4% Corsi for, which is good to see. The Zetterlund, Granlund, the Lund line, they're at 44.8%. With about almost 150 minutes played together, kind of those lines. For Celebrini, the Celebrini, Goodrow, Smith line is at 47.6%, and they're at, when that line plays, they're at 40. That's about 43 minutes. The Zetterlund, Celebrini, Smith was over 50%, and they played almost 40 minutes together. Those are, I think, some of the really kind of positive lines. Some of the other kind of big hitters, Zetterlund, Celebrini, Eklund played 87 minutes. They're at 46% Corsi for, or 45% Corsi for. Who else we got? Cunnin, Wenberg, Toffoli, who's been they played a lot recently together, 80.7%, or 81 minutes, 44.5%. And then Goodrow, Wenberg, Cunnin, we've seen a lot together as well. 39% at like 73 minutes, which you wouldn't expect that line to produce a lot of shot attempts as well. So I think kind of what you would expect from this, group here, and their kind of production so far. If you did want to know how I'm pulling up the raw or the every minute played type of for the offensive pairs here, at least when it comes to shot attempts, the Gushin, Wenberg, Goodrow played 12 minutes. That's your number one line. I'm trying to see this Celebrini, Smith. Where's Celebrini, Smith, Graf? There's a lot of names on here. Celebrini, Smith. Celebrini Smith graph, they're about 37.5% Corsi 4 for them when it comes to actual shot attempts. So not great, but again, like you're going to, with that line, I think they are very much a quality over quantity type of line. So I think the offense is kind of performed as you would expect so far. And you'll hopefully see it continue to grow as Smith and Celebrini continue to fit into their roles. And so I think everything's kind of on track for the offense. Defensively, I was actually kind of surprised. The defense has actually seen some improvements, to be honest. So goals allowed per game played, 2.33, which is actually a decrease or increase in goals allowed per game played, which is a decrease in numbers wise, right? Smaller number better at 5v5, but it's only by 0.03. And we can definitely point to a big reason why that number can change, Mr. Mackenzie Blackwood. But Corsi allowed, so the shot attempts have decreased. So they're at 52.93. That's a decrease by almost a shot attempt, 1.5 shot attempts per game right there, which is good to see. Actual shots on goal game played, 25.33. That's a decrease of basically half a shot. So again, nothing monumental, but you're seeing improvements from this team, especially at the defensive level. Cody Cece's leading the way with time on ice at 17:54. Was actually a decrease. He was over 18 minutes, so about 10 seconds off from where he was at the 20-minute mark. Cece also leads in blocks with 57, and then Mario Ferraro leads with hits defensively. So I like I said, I think you are seeing some improvements, and two, with Jake Wallman being out, I think there's a much more significance on defensive defensemen right now, because the Sharks just don't really have a lot of guys who can kind of help generate offense. So I think they have been playing a much more structured, tighter game. And yes, you have your 8-1 Tampa games occasionally, but even in games where, they haven't looked great, they've still been, you haven't just seen the as many of those like massive blowouts that we saw from last year. And they've just been more disappointing games. I think like the Calgary game where they lost like 3-1, and Askarov played pretty well in that game. And, they had an empty netter, but like that game where like Calgary just kind of controlled everything and just kind of slowed it down and made it impossible for the Sharks offense to do anything. But I think though, from the defensive point, I just think you're seeing a much better effort from the team. And I will be excited to see what happens when we see maybe some of these veterans kind of moved out, and some of the younger guys with higher upside get a chance to kind of establish themselves. But I like Warsofsky has done a lot with the defense compared to especially what we saw last year with David Quinn, where we, again, just how many times would it be like a 6-1 blowout, or just how many times are just guys left wide open? And you're still getting guys left wide open, and a lot of the times it's usually a defenseman kind of stuck in the no man's land, or a forward doesn't track back correctly. But I still think there is just more tangible structure to the defense. And I think you're starting to kind of see those dividends pay off for this team. So as for the defensive pairings, Mukabadul and Ruda, your Corsi Kings so far, and they're 82 minutes played, 52.7% Corsi 4. Wallman, Ruda of next, and they're 30. It's weird, they've only played 35 minutes, but kind of makes sense too. And I did this, I think I said this, the 30 minutes are up for the pairings here. So 48 point, the Wallman CC, one of your big heavy defensive units, 48.2% Corsi 4, which, granted, how much, especially CC, how much ice time he gets, that pairing kind of works. So Thrun Liljegren, 58 minutes is at 48.1%. Ferraro Liljegren, one of your big heavy hitter minutes here, they're at 46.2% Corsi 4. For our Ruda, another big defensive pairing, 237 minutes. Thrun CC played together 41.3, and then Thrun Ruda, 140 minutes at 36.9%. For our CC 91, like if you can get one guy who can kind of move the puck a little bit, whether it's Liljegren, Muka Madulin, Wallman, all those guys to varying degrees. If you can get one on a defensive pair, it really helps the defensive pair like be able to just not get cratered in their own zone and hemmed in their own zone and be able to generate some shot attempts. And I know Vlasic's back and stuff, but I still would like to see Muka Madulin out there and getting some more run here, because Shakir Muka-Madulin is going to be hopefully a big part of the Sharks' future. So, but overall, though, like I said, I think you're seeing some improvement from the Sharks' defense. We're trying to raise the Titanic here. It's not going to be, just this insane defensive unit here really like overnight. But I think you are seeing some better structure. You're seeing them not hemorrhage as many shot attempts and shots, and and I think we'll talk about the goalies here in a little bit. I think the goaltending can help solve a lot of the issues as well with the Sharks here. So we'll get to the special teams and we'll talk goaltending here at the end in just 1 second. Did Rocket Money help you find subscriptions you forgot about or that you thought you weren't paying for twice? Definitely happened to me and my wife. We downloaded Rocket Money, or she downloaded Rocket Money, checked on subscriptions that we had totally forgotten about, was able to track them down and get them canceled. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, helps you lower your bills so you can grow your savings. It brings everything together in one place, whether it's subscriptions, spending habits, or even your goals you want to hit this year, right? New year, new me, new money goals. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year. Again, that's like 3 Macklin Celebrini jerseys you could buy right there. That's just smart money, right? So using all of the app's premium features, cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster than Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon. All right, let's finish up by talking about the special teams. I think the power play here, I think, is one of the things you have to point to that has been probably one of the bigger disappointments for the season this year, because I thought this power play had a chance to be good-ish. And again, like, what does that mean? Going from one of the worst power plays, even the power play last year wasn't too bad. But I thought they had a chance to kind of be like an average power play this year. They just aren't that right now. And I don't know if it's because they're still trying to find the right pieces, right? They've been going with the 5 forward units, especially with Jake Wallman out. Just trying, you've seen, like we saw Will Smith playing on the top unit here. I don't know if it's just trying to find the right pieces for it and try to figure out kind of what makes it click better. I think maybe just shooting the puck a little bit more too. But I would say like the power play has been kind of a little bit of a disappointment. And right now they're 25th in the league, right? Like it's not the worst, but you were hoping maybe this power play could kind of be in the teens, if and there's still a chance, like it's, they're at 17.2. They would have to do some work here to catch like the Maple Leafs like 20%, 20.5%, like they're 18th. But like I was hoping we would see some more kind of a little bit more from the power play, especially with how well it ended the season last year. But so far 17.2% success rate, 22 goals for. They have allowed 4 shorthandeds. Of course, 2 of those came in the same period shift or whatever against Vegas. So gross. Celebrini leads the way. He has 4 goals, assists. Granlund has 9, and also Granlund leads the team with 12 points on the power play. So hopefully they figure this out, and I wouldn't be surprised, especially if Celebrini and Smith continue to get some run here kind of on the top power play. If we start to see it maybe click a little bit more, and we've seen I think they need to work on like the puck movement just isn't as crisp, and I think the urgency sometimes, especially compared to the top units where that puck is flying around all the time, and that's chemistry one, and two, just having kind of a better plan and knowing what to do with the puck. I think that they're still kind of in that feeling things out phase, and who's kind of the trigger man and who kind of does what. They're still figuring things out, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a much better second half from the power play. That's my hope, right? That's what I'm trying to talk myself into. So the penalty kill is also kind of about the same. They were 80.1%. It was about the same at the 20 game mark. They've scored 2 shorthanded goals and they've given up 29. Cody Ceci is your leader on time on ice. Goodrow still with the kind of I'm giving him the goal lead, and then Mario Ferraro leads in blocks. So CC, though, taking over for Ferraro, who was the leader, is interesting. It shows, I think, the importance of what Cody CC has meant to this team. And maybe, that was always, I think, the thing with Mario Ferraro was he was always asked to do too much too soon, too quickly by the Sharks and his development, right? It was very much like, oh, Ferraro, you look like you're pretty good. Here, do everything, because they – right? You think the end of the Brent Burns and Eric Carlson eras, and like Ferraro had to take on that role. And I think now that you have guys like Cody Ceci and Ruda and, Walman, like there's better distribution of kind of the tasks. And I think Cody Ceci's really taken on that role and kind of given Ferraro maybe a little bit of an opportunity to not have to do as much. And we've seen Ferraro kind of play some of his better games recently because of that. So let's, of course, end with the goaltending. One of my little, like, I do love Money Puck a lot. I really do like them. One of my little pet peeves with them is once a player gets traded, they're just their data is just kind of gone. And then they also they don't separate, right? So I'll just pull it up. So Gorgiev, who's played 23 games this year, but he hasn't played 23 games with the Sharks. So but all of his stats get kind of lumped in there. Wish there was a separate feature. But anyway, goal saved above expected. Askarov is leading the way. If you listen to yesterday's episode, we talked about this, but in his 7 games played, he's given up 16 goals on 21.03 expected goals against, leading the way. Vitek Vanacek, 14 games played. He's given up 47 goals on 41.75, minus 5.3 goals saved above expected, which is minus 0.433 goals saved per 60. So he's basically given up almost half a goal per 60 minutes played. And Gorgiev, so his numbers include his Colorado numbers and his Sharks numbers. That's what kind of bothers me, is because if you combine them all, he's got minus 11.7 goals saved above expected, but he's only played a handful of games with the Sharks. So I did kind of some math on his numbers. They would be really similar to Vanacek's, except for with a much smaller sample size and the goals saved above expected. So I think, especially with Mackenzie Blackwood gone, it's very much, we've had this conversation. We'll continue to have this conversation until Vitek Vanacek gets back, of Askarov is clearly leading the way. He's clearly your best goalie. Do you try to rehab one of your goalies? I think Vitek Vanacek has shown some good starts here and there. If it was me, I would probably try to maybe see if you can, get Gorgiev to the AHL to try to rehabilitate, continue to work, that we can continue to work with the coaches a little bit more, goaltending coaches and Thomas Spear a little bit more, get some rehab starts, basic kind of quote unquote rehab starts with the AHL team, and then see if you can bring him back and let him play NHL games, or I don't know, something with him. But Yeah, it's very much Askarov has definitely taken over the Blackwood mantle of just being the best goaltender in the Sharks organization, and their Sharks are going to have to go out this offseason and try to find a backup, like a quality backup goaltender for next season. But it's a conversation for a different day. So if Askarov's in net, you feel like the Sharks got a chance. If not, they're going to have to score like 5 goals a game, and the offense just isn't ready to do that right now. So it's kind of what you expect from the goaltending right now. So that's going to be it for me today, though. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about the Vegas game. Then we got some time off here. We'll finish up our prospect midseason check-ins, the 2023 class and the 2024 class. Get you guys ready. Of course, we got the 2 games this weekend. So plenty of great stuff. Probably start draft coverage here-ish soon in January. We're going to kind of see where the Sharks are going to be picking. We know it's probably going to be a top 5 pick, and then see what the Sharks do at the trade deadline if they try to squeeze another first round pick in there somewhere. So we'll see, but we'll probably start digging into the draft class here soon. There's a lot of intrigue in the top 4. I already get asked all the time, who would you pick, JD? We got 6 months to figure it out, guys. Plenty of time. So make sure you follow along wherever you get podcasts. Of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure to drop a like, or if you haven't followed, now's a great time to subscribe. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Till tomorrow. Bye, friends.